Welcome to Radical Underdogs and to race 2 for Snetterton. We're starting in our best position ever. Well, not quite, but we finished our race last time in the best position ever, and we're starting it in position 10 anyway. That's all you need to know. The lights are on and they are out, and we are going in this second race of the day. We've got Jake Pace behind us. He's out of position. He's normally up much closer to the front, and so the plan will be to follow him through when he does get through. That is, because he probably will do within the first couple of corners. Got Christian Dan up ahead of us with a really close battle with him in the last race, so the key will be to get past him quite quickly so we can make our way up into, well, further up into the top 10. But at the moment we're down a position. Jake has, as expected, already got that position up. We're down on the outside into Montreal for the first time. The tight right-hander hairpin. Important to get that right, especially on the first lap. You see cars going off onto the grass, kicking up the dust as we go down on the inside for Palmer. And we're still with Jake, actually, so the plan to follow Jake through still is on, if we can stick with him, that is. He's actually got a much better exit out of Palmer, so this plan might be out the window within the first couple of corners. Anyway, down into Agostini for the first time. It's a left-hander, and you can see the dust, the cement dust on the inside. So I saw that on the green flag lap, and I thought, I'll just miss that out on the first lap, definitely not take the racing line, let the other cars kick up the dust, get that on their tyres, and then I will be through, if I can, get a better exit out of one of these corners. Not really been the case. Everyone's stacking up on the inside. I'm down all the way on the outside of Oggies, and having to just bump Christian Dan there because he was a bit slower on the power. It's difficult when you're this close to the other drivers, whether or not they've got the power down or not. But we've got a better exit, hopefully, out of Williams and the slipstream down the Bentley straight. Again, it'll be one of those ones where you have to decide whether to go into fifth, and I've decided to go into fifth early, trying to get the torque out of the engine, but sometimes it's just better staying in fourth and bouncing off the limiter, and I think that's what Christian's done. So he's actually managed to stay ahead and going down into that great Brundle-Nelson complex. This is a really technical part of Snetterton 300, and a great track to do for a track day because there's loads of runoff as well. You can hit the barriers, I suppose, if you go off here, but most of the time the barriers are quite a long way from the edge of the circuit, so there are sort of the classic accidents, and I've had one or two myself here, but most of the time you miss the barriers if you go off the circuit here, so it's quite a good one to do for a track day. Anyway, this isn't a track day, this is a race, and we've got potentially a good run down the start-finish straight called the Senna Straight, if I'm reading my map chart correctly, going over the start-finish line for the first time. Our fastest lap last time out was a 2:26.3, obviously because we were at a standing start, 2:36 obviously because we were starting from 0 miles per hour. Now down for the second time into the sort of Richies, which again, quite a tricky corner to get right. It looks tighter than it is in the MX-5. You have to trust that you can carry the speed through. We are right up against Christian here. This is a really close race, almost bumping him along just to try and keep him in this top 10 position. You can see we're actually still, I think, if you look right at the front of this gaggle of cars, we are probably fighting for third place or thereabouts. I think the top two have checked out of this race and are off having their own race up the front. But I think this, if you count the cars back, there's first and second going around now, but this group of cars here is all for the last step of the podium, which is pretty unusual. And if you think about the last 4 years where I've been racing typically down in the mid-pack, I guess I am still mid-pack if you count 11 out of 20, that's sort of almost bang in the middle. But not really been racing for certainly not been in the group of cars which has included third place drivers. So you can see cars nose to tail as we go through Oggies. For the second time, it feels like I've been racing. Just the concentration required to race directly behind another driver is quite difficult because bits of the circuit which you just have to be really familiar with. You have to be familiar with your braking points, familiar with your turning points, familiar where the track goes, because a lot of it's being obscured by the car in front if you have got 0 inches between you, which is what we're aiming to get here as we go down, and just not enough straight to capitalise and get alongside there. Now down into that Brandon Nelson complex, Christian actually pulling out a little bit of a gap. We do need to stick with this. We absolutely can't fall away from this group, because this is what will get us our top 10 position at the end of this race, which is, desperately what we will follow up. Last race we did manage to get that top 10 for the first time in 4 years of racing in this championship. It was last year's objective. We qualified 8th at the first race last year, then wrote off the car and spent the rest of the year sort of in 13th, 14th, 15th, maybe even 17th position. There are a few more cars last year. This year's been a bit light in terms of the grid sizes, but this year started out really strongly with a 12th position, had a DNF in the second race at Silverstone, had a 10th for the first time, which I was really happy with for the first race at Snetterton, and we're down in 11th position now, so only one position down from where we started. And actually we're sticking with this group of cars, and as I said, Jake Pace up there in the car 28, who's in that pale blue car, typically well up in the front of the race. And so actually, by being able to stick with this group, this is really encouraging for the rest of the year, definitely. So being able to stick with a group like this through a race, and we're basically midpoint of the race now, really is encouraging. And you can see Christian's tyres, or maybe even going off already, I don't know, because he's struggling for grip there, struggling to get the power down through Palmer, always had wheel spin. You can see as he came out the exit there, it's flying down the inside there, making a great last minute lunge. Jamie Turner in car number 9. That was a great pass down into Agostini. So he is going to be a threat, because typically Jamie Turner will be ahead of us on a race like this. So we do have to have our wits about us as we go through down into Oggies again. And he got cars up ahead, bouncing over the curbs. There is a nasty sausage curb on the inside of Oggies that you really don't want to get your car bouncing over if you can avoid it. But we're trying to stick with it because, as I say, the toe is really important down the Bentley straight. So up ahead we've got Christian Dan, who is still ahead of us for the 3 laps of this race, getting sick of the sight of that blue car. We want to get past it, but he is definitely doing enough to keep us behind. He did enough in the last race as well, under a lot of pressure in the last race, but he did end up finishing ahead of us. You can see Jamie Turner right behind us. He has definitely got ambitions of getting further up into this race, regularly finishing in the top 10. I'm pretty sure he's had quite a few podiums as well, almost losing it. I said it was not a bad track to be on because there's a bit of runoff, but I don't want to test that runoff on the grass on the outside of Coram. But managing to keep the pace up, and just having a look to see in the mirrors there whether Jamie was having a lunge down the inside. He wasn't. He was sticking with it. He's having to go a little bit wide and actually get a much better exit onto the centre straight, so he should be able to keep this position as we go down and crossing the line with the fastest, last time was fastest lap, so 2:26.91, giving a bit of a bump draft again to Christian Dan. There really wasn't the speed to get past him in that position, and again losing out a little bit because I'm a little bit chicken on the brakes there, because again, as I say, you can take a lot more speed than it looks like at first glance into Ritchie's, and it just takes a while to get your head around it, missing the apex badly at Montreal, so losing time there. And you can see Jamie Turner catching up behind us. It's really important not to miss apexes like that and not to lose time. I think a few cars have got away out front of this group, so we're no longer fighting for a podium position, but certainly if you count the cars, there's definitely 5 or 6 cars in this group, so definitely 4th or 5th at the front of this group anyway. And yeah, you can see the 2 cars up ahead that have basically checked out of this group. They've got their own little group going. They'll be bump drafting each other down the Bentley straight to get away from the clutches of this group. That's because the problem is, if you're in 4th position, you're having a great race. If you just have one bad corner out onto the grass or something, you're losing 5 or 6 positions. You can see in this group, nose to tail again as we go through Oggies. Really, everyone's really looking to get that good exit out of Williams so they can carry the speed down one of the longest straights in Club Motorsport, down the Bentley straight. We've had quite a good exit. We could have used maybe more road there, to be honest, but never mind. I'm actually telling Christian to get on with it because we are in a bit of trouble, because of course the cars behind us are normally faster, so actually it's important to try and build that gap, and you can do that at Snetterton fast circuit. Cars up ahead are fighting. There's a bit of a Constantina effect. They're very slow. We've actually just run into the back there, Christian. Again, it's really difficult. And got Jamie Turner. And there's contact on the inside. Let's have another look at a replay of that. I was trying to lose it. I saw him coming. I thought I was leaving enough space. As you can see, I thought I was leaving a car's width on the inside. It's very fast gone. It's flat out. Not sure. I don't know. It's a difficult one. I'm going to say it's a racing incident. I'm sure Jamie might disagree, but I was trying to leave a car's width, and it is flat out. There's no braking there, so he just had the run on because, of course, the cars were stacking up on the exit of Nelson there. Anyway, no major harm done, no damage to either car. So we're carrying on, and I think Jamie's going to try and look to get past because he again was fast, much faster that lap. He's basically on our tail. He's in the slipstream. We're going to have to go defensive into Ritchie's if we want to keep this place. We are going defensive, and Jamie's going down the outside, and he's going to switch back. We've got the position for the moment, but he's definitely got a better exit by taking that racing line on the outside. He's on the inside for the braking zone for Montreal. The important thing here is to try and switch back if we can, unless Jamie... Oh yeah, he plants it on the apex. That was really good. Again, if you run wide there, then it's really easy to get the switchback manoeuvre, which is what I was going for. But never mind, we might have another chance. We're still with this group. It's important to stick with this group and not fight too much. Behind us, we've got Adam Lawrence in that car, 73. He had a few issues last race. We came together. He hit the barriers, but he carried on. And he's decided to have his own accident down on the inside. He's spun across. He's hit Jamie Turner. Wildly out of control on the inside. Let's have a look at that again. He's already sideways across the track. Amazing car control to keep it together once he had lost control. Going into the side of Jamie Turner, who takes no further part of this race. But Adam Lawrence carries on. There is no penalty as a result of that coming together, which I'm a bit surprised about. But in any case, poor old Jamie's out the race through no fault of his own, just got collected in that accident. I think he was still trying to take avoiding accident. He was well off the racing line when he got collected, so he must have seen it coming, tried to take avoiding accident, and didn't end up taking the action. But I guess it has worked out in our benefit. We're in position 12, but look at this. Going to be in position 10. They both of the two cars ahead. That's the Misty Racing car of Reece March, who was fighting with Christian Dan, and they both got slow and out of that last corner, and we got the position. So skipping ahead, second to last lap of the race, we are in position 10. We are looking at single figure finishes potentially if we can get past Nick Ledoyen in car number 9, I think it is. No, car number 5, Nick Ledoyen. He is up ahead, and we are going down the Bentley Straight. It is quite a rare sight for us to be racing together. Nick's normally a little bit higher up on the grid. I'm normally a little bit lower down on the grid. But here we are, and there potentially is a chance to get past if we just keep it clean. That's the important thing. You can see there's a bit of a gap behind us. If I can keep this gap, I'm pretty sure I can keep Christian behind us. Actually, you can see in the mirrors at the moment, Jordan Head, who started from the pit lane for this race, because remember he was underweight in his best ever position, position 5, but he was underweight, and that gifted us the top 10 last time. But Jordan is having an amazing drive from the pit lane to, well, he's in position 12 at the moment, but he'll be gunning for the top 10. Pretty amazing job, especially in dry conditions. You can see Christian Dan fully off the road, and that might become important later because track limits are a thing at Snetterton. There are lots of places to go off and lots of places, and you can see the black and white flag being shown. That might mean he gets a penalty at the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see. We're down on the outside of Nick Ledoyen. It's probably not going to be a place to get past here. And actually what we've done is we've just let ourselves get back into the clutches of the fast group behind us. Christian Dan and Jordan Head both behind us. That was a really stupid move, really. I should have just bumped Nick down the straight and followed him through, because now we're under threat and we've lost that position. I'm out on the grass as well, so we potentially will lose at Jordan as well. We haven't. We've kept that position. We're in position 11. Can't rely on penalties to get our top 10s every time. It's a real disappointment, actually. We were a couple of seconds ahead. We've just thrown away those 2 seconds by trying that move on the outside of Ritchie's. It was never going to happen. Anyway, we've got to try and keep the position we do have. Jordan will be on fire having started, as I say, from the pit lane to be in position 12 now. Tyres are going a little bit off. These tyres, these Kumos, are much better than the Avons we had last year in terms of heat and degradation. Well, degradation remains, I guess the jury's a bit out, and that's still the second race of the season. Got down the inside, got Jordan ahead, but he's not going to make it through this time. We're going to keep around the outside. Really important to get a good exit out of Williams. And that is exactly what we're doing, carrying the speed through Williams. But Jordan is definitely going to have the slipstream as we go down the Bentley straight, and he is going to look to get this position. I absolutely know he'll be on fire for this, so it's really important to try and keep him behind. I know it's the last lap of the race, we've seen the last lap board. I know Jordan's going to be desperate to get these positions. We're going the inside line, we've got the defensive line. He's going to try and cut back, and there's no room on the outside there. On the exit of Nelson, and we're going to go flat out through bomb hole. There's no way through there. There's one last corner remaining, and as I said before, it is the inside line that's typically the attacking move here. So we're going to try and cover that inside line. But Jordan's seen the inside line open up on Coram, which will be the outside for Murray's. Going to be really tough to get round the outside there. And we break down, we go into second gear, normally in third. You can see behind us up onto the grass, but we don't have time for that. We've got to defend from Jordan Head as he takes. We've almost opened the door here by trying to close the door on the outside, and we're just trying to get the power down, and it's not working. Using momentum to try and throw myself over the line, but didn't happen. Jordan with an excellent drive. Gets us into position 10, but actually you can see the penalty for Christian Dan. He did get that track limits penalty in the end. You saw him going off the circuit quite a few times. He gets a 5-second penalty, which puts him behind us. It would have been a top 10 had we finished ahead of Jordan there. And actually a few stupid moves on that last lap, but all credit to Jordan, starting from the pit lane and finishing in the top 10. What a drive. So whilst it's nice to be part of that, obviously it would have been nicer to have 2 top 10 finishes in one weekend. But 10th and 11th, can't really say that that's a bad weekend, and no serious damage to the car. Thank you very much for watching. There's a bit of a break over the summer, so we'll do some other things, potentially the engine rebuild that needs to get done after Silverstone. So I've never done that before, so I'll be giving that a go. If you've liked this, please do give it a like on the YouTube, little thumbs up button, and do subscribe. It's really important. Really important to try and build the subscriber count up. But thank you very much for watching, and catch you again in the next one.